everyone. So, Flora here, and I'm coming to you from southern Portugal, the Alentejo region in Santa Clara. And yeah, you can see the Mediterranean shrub all around. And I've actually come to catch the last rays of sun, which is pretty strong considering we're in November. And yeah, take this little fella for a walk. I wanted to give you all a bit of an update on our red kites reintroduction project, which is a project that Mossy Earth has been supporting for a few years now. And actually we had the last release on this project happen throughout September and October. And we did it slightly differently than in the previous years because, yeah, predation numbers were quite high, both in 2023 and 2022. So yeah, more kites were killed by predators after being released than we had thought they would. So yeah, we changed the strategy just a bit and actually released the kites in different areas and at different times and just spread it out more both in time and space. We're actually seeing now that it's working, so very few kites have actually suffered or died due to predation this year, which is fantastic. It just shows that the strategy we adopted is working, and that's what it's supposed to do. So that's a very positive note. But sadly, I'm not here today to talk about something so positive. Actually come bearing some pretty sad news. In the last weeks, AMUS has actually found 2 kites which have been poisoned. So they've been killed by poisoning. This is really sad. I know this has happened in previous years as well, and it actually is a pretty persistent issue here in the Alentejo, so in this southern part of Portugal. And there are reasons for that, but yeah, it's very sad that after so much effort and resources, bringing the kites from the UK to Spain and releasing them, taking care of them for months and then releasing them. It's pretty sad that this still happens. But I had a very, very interesting conversation with Alfonso about this issue, the poisonings, and it's going to be available on the project page, and you can check it out because it's a very interesting conversation. You'll learn a lot about this issue, and I highly recommend you check it out. I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview of this problem. Basically, one of the kites AMUS found was actually not a kite that was released in Spain. It was a kite that was tagged and released in France. So the Eurokite project, it's tagging and releasing kites all over Europe. Actually, during this time of the year, so November and through the winter time, the kites actually, they migrate down south and they come to the Iberian Peninsula to spend the winter because, it's warmer, as you can tell. It's November and pretty sunny and I'm in a t-shirt, so it just goes to show it is pretty warm. Maybe a bit too warm. But yeah, and they also have more food available, so they come and spend the winters here.
In the case of Portugal and southwest of the Iberian Peninsula is one of the most important areas for wintering of European red kites. So mainly German, Dutch, French red kite that came to the southwest Europe for the wintering came here to Spain and south of Portugal.
Because we have this issue with the poisonings, the kites that end up dying due to this problem will affect the European population. So we're actually poisoning kites from the whole of Europe.
Unfortunately, the south of Portugal has been since the beginning of the project, that during the last 3 winters, has been a black hole of red kite mortality, mainly by poisoning, unfortunately.
It's sad to see that this is still a problem, and it's sad to see that it just happens so much. AMUS is doing a really good job at collaborating with institutions in Portugal to hopefully reduce the risk of this problem. The gist of it is that in winter months, when the kites actually come from Central Europe down to the Iberian Peninsula to spend the winter, that's also the time when predation on livestock is much higher, and you have the baby cows, baby sheep are just more vulnerable. So the farmers, in hopes of protecting their livestock, they actually put out meat with this poison, and it's a very, very potent poison.
The killing by poisoning is very cruel because in fact the problem is that this poison stops the movement of the neurons, so your nervous system is blocked. So they can feel how the hair stop how many nerves and many organs start to stop. So it's very agonic there.
Just to give you an idea, this poison, 0.02 grams could actually kill a person of 80 kilograms. Just to wrap your head around how strong that stuff actually is. But yeah, they put it out to target the foxes, but they end up just killing a whole bunch of other wildlife that scavenges in the area. And yeah, sadly, that also happened to be the red kites, including many other raptors. Actually, at one of the sites where AMUS found the kite, they also found like 5 other raptors, which is really, really sad. And so when AMUS actually finds these kites, and they can basically figure out where a kite has died and where actually it ingested a poison due to the GPS the GPS backpacks they have, which is fantastic, and it's a really valuable resource, especially when they're working in collaboration with the GNR, which is the Portuguese National Guard, and they have a specific department for these wildlife killings, which is great. And they also have trained dogs specifically to find these animals. Yeah, and AMUS work very closely with them in these situations, and they provide them this information, and they can very often actually track down the farmer, the person responsible for this.
In Portugal, there is a canine team trained to find poison. It's a dog under the control of the police. It's not our dog. So okay. in this case, we have to maintain the crime protocol because the tribunal will ask if all the process had been kept with the protocol. So when we call to the police, we don't touch anything. So the police touch everything. And unfortunately, thanks to this very good trained dog and the very good job of the police, I want really to send our congratulations to the Wildlife and Conservation Nature Service of the National Republic Guard in Portugal. They are doing an amazing job in the field. And thanks to these dogs, during the next day, we found another red kite, a common buzzard, and 2 not identified raptor, and also 2 bait with the poison. So the dog was able to find the bait with the poison. So in this case, it will be easy, to identify the poison used to kill these animals.
But this is where we get to the tricky part. So this issue keeps persisting because even when you figure out who the person is and you take them to court and legal action is taken, most of the times people are not actually held accountable because there's just not enough evidence. It's a wildlife crime and people don't seem to care very much, which is very, very sad. And it's very important that AMUS and associations, NGOs in the area keep making pressure and pressuring the institutions that are supposed to play a very important role in this and actually make sure that the people who do this are held accountable.
It's absolutely sad because this activity, this crime, even when the focus is the foxes, the impact of this activity is huge. It's because it's widely and affecting the huge community of scavenger raptor and scavenger animal. Poisoning, wildlife poisoning is killing golden eagle, vulture, wolves, and of course in this case red kite and medium-sized raptors that used to live in winter in Alentejo during this period.
It's really thanks to you guys who support these projects that make this possible. So we can only thank you for having supported this project for all these years. It's truly fantastic. And I'm going to recommend you to go onto the project page for this project and watch the discussion video I had with Alfonso about this issue. He gives you a much wider picture from this problem. And goes much more into detail. So just jump on there, and I'm gonna say goodbye and thank you all for having watched this. And I'm gonna leave you with a big thank you from Alfonso himself. Cheers.
I wanted to say to you and all Mossy community first our thanks from AMUS to support this project and to create a dream, a reality, because this was a dream started 6 years ago when we started to work with to play with the red kite, and today is a reality in which are involved with organizations from many countries. Thanks to the British colleague, they are doing an amazing job also in in the UK. And of course, our thanks to Mossy and all the members to support and to maintain this project, even 1 year more than was planned at the beginning. Because as you know, one of the problems we have in conservation project is that they used to be long term, and when we have the project used to be limited. And for us, it was very important the support of Mossy Earth for this extra year, in which we're really grateful for that. So thank you very much for all, and I hope to keep with Mossy Earth and Mossy Earth community for a long time.